So this is a design wall, and it's made with pieces of foam insulation on the back, and I've covered it with a solid layer of batting. And what I do is I pin a quilt top to the front, and the batting helps it stick so it doesn't move when I flip it up.
Meet molecular biologist Michaela Brine, who during her time in university discovered quilting as a way to relax and rest the analytical part of her brain. That way to relax turned into a hobby that allowed a very creative side of Michaela to blossom.
I quilted my first quilt, which was a disaster. But after having done that, I fell in love with it. And so, even halfway through that disastrous first quilt, I was thinking about the next quilt and what I would do. And so really from there, I've been quilting nonstop.
In the past, she has led teams as a research scientist, running DNA sequencing labs. But being employed in such a highly specialized field can have its drawbacks. Once funding for projects runs out, quite often, so do the jobs. So after a 4-year managerial project ended, Michaela went to Community Futures with an idea, one that would see her almost obsession with quilting turn into a business. But this isn't a traditional quilting shop. Quilters Lane is a place that sees the technology that goes along with a computerized long-arm industrial sewing machine almost colliding with an old-world craft.
I think it's probably about a decade and a half ago where just machine quilting in general was not an accepted form. And that has changed dramatically. So now machine quilting is the norm. And you rarely see hand quilting. And I think that this is sort of the next generation. And right now this is less acceptable, but I think it's moving into the field where people will start seeing how creative and how artistic this form of quilting is, and really how much the computerized system allows you to expand what you're capable of doing. I love drawing feathers, but I've never really considered myself an artist.
The analytical side of her brain comes in during the design portion of the process. She first draws out the potential design, then uses a computer to finish it. She then photographs the quilt and overlays the design onto the quilt, giving the quilter and Michaela an idea of how the final stitching will look. The design is then fed into the computer, and the sewing machine stitches the pattern.
So at that point, you're ready to quilt. And hold the quilt button.
The machine can do in hours what may take a full-time quilter months, if not longer.
What I've found is that using the computerized system, it really allows you to make sure that you have something that works with your quilt top, because you can look at the quilting pattern you've created beforehand, before you quilt it, and see how it works on that particular quilt. The other part of that is with a computerized system, you can do a lot of symmetry. So you can design a feather, and because you're using a computerized system, you can design one arm of your feather going that way, and then you can use sort of a symmetrical, cut and paste function and turn it, flip it, so then you have a beautiful flowing feather that goes out in both directions, and it's symmetrical on both sides. I hope that I can reach a broad market, because I really do have a specialty service. It's sort of, I have a small regional market, and so I hope that my quilting and my skill can be shown to a broader audience, and that people will send me quilts from across North America.
Michaela offers 3 levels of quilting classes, from beginners with lots of cutting and gluing to advanced machine appliques. She also has an online gallery at quilterslane.ca. Call 778-484-5099 for more information. From Kelowna for Shaw, I'm Tammy Williams.